Oh no. Why am I an editor display? What the fuck just happened? Hold on! Ah! Shh. Shh. Everything's fine. It's all good. We're all good. We're all good.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Marketplace Mayhem Q&A.
Woo!
Woo!
God, my mouse has been twitchy all day, and it randomly clicked on a thing that I did not know what it was. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the stream. We are doing a Marketplace Mayhem Q&A today. Hello, Chesic. I see 11. I see all of my lovely mods. I also see a wonderful, wonderful amethyst cat lady, and I cannot scroll because I aforementioned twitchy mouse, and an orange, and a Serena. Hello, everybody, and a Gilly. Hello, hello, hello. Bop along merrily, everyone. Bop along merrily.
That chose that song so well.
Yes, it was an absolutely beautiful song. But hello, everyone. Welcome to the stream. Today we are doing the Marketplace Mayhem Q&A. If you do not know what Marketplace Mayhem is the Teens in Space one-shot that we did in March. How is it June already? We don't know. In March it's in the Phoenix universe. It is a one shot using the Teens in Space system. And all of my lovely mods that you can see around me. We have the lovely Geek Outs over here. We have the lovely their Panduin over here. There is Resident Bard right there, and Killer Haku right there. Look at them. They're all here. Killer Haku, is my volume a little low? I'll turn it up. Hold on. Let's see if my mouse will work. Hey, Edgefit, welcome on in. Greetings, everybody. But yeah, Marketplace Mayhem is a Teens in Space one-shot that we did in March. It is a role-playing game that I was the first time I ever GM'd. And it's very near and dear to my heart. And in April, you guys, it was our stretch goal in April to do a Marketplace Mayhem Q&A. And so we have finally gathered everyone here today to talk a little bit about it, talk about our inspirations, answer your guys' questions, and just reminisce about the awesome one-shot that we did. So welcome, everybody. I hope y'all are having a great Saturday. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yay! All right, I introduced everyone. I explained what Marketplace Mayhem is. Oh, how to do questions. So, as this is a Q&A, we are doing a sort of question-answer format, just chatting vibes. So, if you have a specific question that you would like answered about Marketplace Mayhem, make sure to do question, parentheses, and then your question behind it. Question in all caps or bold, if possible, just so that we can see it. And do it, because chat might start going fast. I don't know. But yeah, that's how you do, how you submit questions. It'll be super chill. We're just gonna vibe and have fun. My mods have a hard out at 6:30, so we do have to end on time today. But I'm happy to be here. So join us all as we journey into space and answer questions and go a little behind the scenes of what we did. So yeah. Questions. Is this how you write questions? Yes, it is. Yes, it is, Haku. Good job.
Yes,
good job. So, me and everybody here wrote our own questions just in case there was a lull, just to like start getting it like started and stuff. Also, I know Fi was slacking a little bit, so people are still filing in because Fi didn't tell people that I was live. How rude of them.
I couldn't tell you that Fi couldn't perform their usual duties because they're here.
Yes, they're here. They're all of their duties are in space. They never perform their duties when they should, only when they shouldn't. But while we wait for people to file in, and if you have a question, please put it in the chat right now, or if not, you can just like vibe and hang out. Yeah. Also, you see there's a goal down there. It is June, and it is Pride Month. And at the end of Pride Month, if we hit $300 before the end of the month, I'll be doing a Pride Goblin stream where I'll probably be making a bunch of goblin stickers. Maybe? We'll see. I don't know what it means. I asked what you guys wanted, and you said Pride Goblin, so that's the goal. We'll figure it out. And then I also have a bunch of Pride merch in my Redbubble as well, so if you'd like to rep your brigade and Pride, I have a bunch of new wing designs. I have the Spread Your Wings design, I have a Be Proud of Your Gatings design, and I have some Bi and Trans Leviathan designs as well in my Redbubble. So, go and check that out. Hey, X-Riker, welcome on in. Hello. So yeah, that's what we're doing today. That is all I have for announcements. Let's do this. Does anyone want to start out the stream while we wait for chat questions by asking some questions of each other? We all have D4s. We all wrote four. I do have a
general question to ask, maybe to kick things off.
Ooh, okay.
But that was one that I thought of last night, and this is, I think, just for everybody. But I think this is always a fun one to ask. What was your favorite choice another player made? Bree, you can answer this one too.
That's a very good question. It keeps happening. This keeps happening. Oh, wait, the desktop audio is fully muted. What the hell? All right, here we go. Fixed. Okay, as I said, my mouse is really twitchy today, and sometimes it just is clicking random things. So, please answer once again.
I was just when John was sensing that we were having trouble trying to get in, decided him and Casper Rowan and Casper should maybe try to find like employees on duty or someone that they could potentially either trick into giving access or take access away from. And I remember thinking that, like, after I rewatched it, like, that was a moment that stood out to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think mine is also a Rowan one, which was when you decided just to say to play your diplomatic immunity card in the museum.
Within minutes of the stream starting.
So funny. So funny every single time, and it's such a fun quirk of the character that I love every single time.
Yeah, I realized that again in my announcements. I did say spoilers ahead for Marketplace Mayhem, obviously because it's a Q&A, but maybe you don't care, but just letting you know. But yes, John, when you were like, okay, I have this thing that's inconsequential on my character sheet, I'm going to use it immediately. I'm going to do my diplomatic immunity card immediately to try to get into this alliance like building, and me being like, okay, that's not how diplomatic immunity works. Diplomatic immunity is like I'm gonna use it to like get information and bypass everything. This whole freaking everything you've set up, Bree. I'm gonna try to bypass it. I'm like, luckily that's not how diplomatic immunity works. Sure, you can get into the government building. That does not mean they'll let you just walk around for free.
I was like, I just want access to a computer terminal so that my friend can hack into things. So can I send a message? Like, just walking and be like, can I send a message to my mom? Like, which was like, honestly, it like, I was very much playing up in that moment the fact that Rowan does appear like a teenager. And so like, I want to send a message home. Can I do that? Like...
That was very cute. It was very sweet, and I appreciate you doing it immediately. And I guess I should have thought that that's what you were going to do, but oh well.
I just wanted you to be fully aware that I was going to cause problems on purpose for the entire one shot.
Like, like, I know it was teens in space, but I was like, maybe they'll like, try to like, no, they're not. It's full chaos. But yeah, Haku, what is your favorite thing that another player did?
Well, for me, it would have been Monty in the museum. Just looking at all the old tech stuff and just interacting with it, it was kind of for me. I mean, the museum was for me generally a highlight. Not the big museum, the small one by the I forgot what show. The character was named after Rainy.
Rainy, the penguin.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Penguin.
Rainy the penguin, and yeah, Monty just interacting with the stuff, and I don't know, it was just my personal highlight.
The entire marketplace. Just every time Bree got to describe part of it, that was also a highlight. It was just like Bree getting to like, here's this world, like here's this little cool little corner of it, here's this other little cool corner of it, and like that was also a highlight.
Thank you. I really liked the museum was really what I wanted to highlight. That was like, I was like, okay, how can I, when I was doing the museum, or both museums really, I was like, how can I shove as much of my own personal anthropology about this world into this one shot, because that's really what the game is, the inspiration of my comic was all about, was like, I'm going to make anthropology in space, and I'm going to talk about all of the fun things and make cultures and things like that. And I was like, well, I'm in a TTRPG space, and it's so much easier to, in a TTRPG space, kind of like just lore dump than in a comic format. So I was like, that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to make a whole character and a whole place for that.
And then I am going to inflict criminal levels of feels crimes on my players with yet another like lore dump about my universe at the very end, which will destroy everyone.
Yeah.
I was so happy for you.
I like destroying people. What can I say? I'm also here to cause problems on purpose and destroy feels on purpose.
Mm-hmm. Having worked with you like on writing stuff before, yes, no, I know this about you.
There's
yeah.
a question.
I think I see there's a good question in chat, but I really quick want to shout out also my favorite. I think one of my favorite things that another player did was Nico's choice at the very end to go save Stravis from museum security.
I mean, we kind of got him into that situation.
I know. That warmed my heart so much. It absolutely warmed my heart when you're like, I can't leave Stravis to go get arrested. I can't do it. And I was like, yeah. I didn't expect you to go back for him. That's so sweet.
For as much of a fuck up Stravis is, they are also really, really nice and really, really genuine, and they did not deserve that.
Yeah. They didn't deserve that on their permanent record.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is this better?
That is better.
Yeah, so hopefully this won't cut out as often. Hey, Barb.
Hey, Barb and Justy. I also saw Ursa and Jessic. Well, thank you so much for the question. And also, I know Den had to leave, and I wanted to say it before we after finish this. Thank you so much for the raid, Den. Thank you so much for the raid. I know you're gone, but if anyone's still here from Den's raid, thank you so much. I hope you had a very good time watching the Wholesome Games Direct and chilling. Den is absolutely lovely. Please go, everyone, give Den a follow. They make incredible backgrounds and are just an all-around amazing artist. So thank you so much for coming on in, and I hope you enjoy watching me and my mods talk about Marketplace Mayhem. I understand if this is not what you came here for, but also I hope you have a good time. But yes, okay. Let's answer Cheswick's question. And also, yes, Stravis is... Stravis, for those of you that didn't know, is the chat-made NPC that was made, as our final stream before I took a break, in 2021. And so I had many months to ruminate on what the fuck Stravis's deal was. And I I can't. There was the idea of just a social media snake just tickles me so much, and I love it so much, and I had to find a way to just absolutely just throw Stravis right into your guys' path, because I was like, why would there be a reason for Stravis to be in the game? And then I was like, oh, you guys are on the news. There's my in. There is my in.
There's a scoop here, like
A scoop here. And yes, the Stravis dab.
yeah, the three-fingered tail dab.
The three-fingered tail dab. But all right. Tessic asks if I can scroll up because my mouse is.
I got you.
We're all good.
Jessica asks, what inspired Marketplace Mayhem? Was it a one-time thing?
So, what inspired Marketplace Mayhem was well, I have always wanted to do a TTRPG in the Phoenix universe. Ever since I started getting really into TTRPG storytelling, I was like, I think that my giant Phoenix universe would go really well in a storytelling actual play medium, and this is kind of an excuse to do that. And it kind of is a bunch of different things. Like, what really inspired it was purely chat and you guys wanting me to do it, and it being a stretch goal that we hit for my Streamiversary last year. Because I think what happened was that in mod chat, I was like, okay, what are our big goals? What are going to be our, like, big goals for the Streamiversary this year? Like, what are our, like, stretch goals if we hit this? And you guys were like, let's play an RPG together. And you run it. And I'm like, all right, okay, that's what it is. And then over the course of the time, it became, we want a one-shot in the Phoenix universe. And that was hit, like, fucking immediately. Like, that was hit immediately for my Streamiversary. And I remember, like, oh.
I remember when we were doing that, like, Brie and I work on a lot of stuff together, and so like what started as kind of just like our weekly meetings to work on producing the Phoenix, like between like writer artist editor meeting, has kind of turned into just like a weekly co-working kind of like thing where we work on a lot of our collabs and stuff. And I remember when we were talking about like the like goals and stuff that all of the mods and us had brainstormed together. I was like, you do realize that, like, by putting it where we put it, like, it is going to happen. Like, people will slam dunk this almost instantaneously.
Look, I didn't know that $800 was a small amount, okay?
Listen, if you put actual play content as a carrot in front of this community, they will like jaws out of the water for it. Like,
yeah, apparently.
And that's why we suggested it.
Mm-hmm.
We all wanted to play in this universe.
Yeah.
I mean, John wants to be an Aborian.
Just IRL.
Yeah.
This was truly just in service of allowing me to play one of my favorite Phoenix races as a character. So,
yeah, and ever since I also was kind of inspired by the fact that ever since I learned what Teens in Space was in 2019 Gen Con, thank you, Eric Campbell. That's a different story, and I don't want to like name drop or anything, but it is purely because of him. And
I would go for it.
Basically what happened was that Eric in 2019 Gen Con was like, hey Brie, you do a lot of space art, and so that I think that means that you like sci-fi stuff, so you come with me to the Renegade Games booth, and I'm gonna show you what Teens in Space is. So in 2019 Gen Con, me and Eric like hung out and talked about Teens in Space for like a while, and I've always wanted to play it ever since. And I've always wanted to play it ever since, and then I told like some of my other friends about it, and I'd never gotten to play it until now, and I'm so excited. So I really wanted to, like, I was like, this is so easy, like, flipping the Phoenix races into Teens in Space, like, playable races was, like, honestly really easy. It's a very intuitive way of doing things. And I was like, this is gonna be great. We're gonna, like, have it super easy. Everyone's gonna, like, be able to tell what all of their, like, stuff does. It works really well for, you know, space stuff, because everyone is different and has different personalities, and, like, biological abilities, and working that in like not a D&D way is great. And it worked really well. So the fact of like me really wanting to play Teens in Space, the community slam dunking my goals, the mods wanting to do it in the Phoenix universe, and then is it a one-time thing? That's up to you guys. Purely and completely. Because we all want to do it again.
We would all, I think, love to do it again. And frankly, like, one of the nice things about having done this now is that we already have a lot of the things that we need to do it again. So doing that would be, this time around, a much simpler procedure, because this time we kind of did treat it as much as we could like high production value actual play, for the scope that we had. So, that meant like backgrounds and character art and like overlay assets. And those are all things that we have now, so that we don't have to like create from scratch for the larger part. So I think the answer is that we'd all very much like to do it again, and maybe as like another goal this year at some point.
And I love this little guy.
If I'd have to do art again to play again, I would make like 7 more overlays for this game.
That makes me very happy.
We could have a patchwork overlay now.
I need everyone to know how much I love this little
hell yeah.
Arborian teenager that is next to me right now. I can't keep this on because it does not like my headphones at all, but...
Yeah, so I will say, is it a one-time thing? That is purely based on your guys' demand for it, but we all would like to play it again, so I think it'll probably be another stream goal soon. Possibly for my Streamiversary this year. My late Streamiversary, but my Streamiversary this year, and yeah, tell me if you want more. Like, tell me if you want more, because then the more people that say yes, the more we're gonna do it, and we can do it. So, yeah. Okay.
In the words of Brennan Lee Mulligan, get in the comments.
Get in the comments!
Get in the comments!
Get in the comments.
I love him so much.
He's incredible. He's absolutely incredible. All right. Who wants to ask a question now?
I've asked one already, so someone else is watching.
I can go.
All right.
Let me just see which of the 4 questions I will ask. Okay. So, to our resident engineer in the party, Buttercup, what is your favorite thing about the patchwork?
My personal favorite thing about it is, due to Buttercup being a non-talkative character, I can actually build their character through the patchwork or how they treat the patchwork. Because most of Buttercup's character building is how is them interacting with the world around them. Since Kawaiians don't really talk in sentences like most other people, due to their translators, they have like single word usually single word to like very simple sentence structures, and also like, come on, it's basically a minivan that can go to space and has a cloaking device. Like, what else is there?
I do appreciate that Buttercup was like, you know what our minivan needs? Our little space minivan? Cloaking device.
Okay, this is not a question, and I know it's derailing, but speaking of the cloaking device, that was the best addition to the patchwork, I must say. Like, yeah. Not only did it get severely upgraded during the one shot with your fucking like nat 20 Haku, which was amazing and incredible. Also, Danny, I see you and I'm so glad. I'm so happy for you. Anyways, I'll get to that. But so before we did the one shot, we also did a session 0 type of vibe where we just kind of like played the characters, got out the kinks, and kind of like set up the story of what was going to be happening in the one shot. And you guys adding the cloaking device made the beginning of this game like so poetic, because the mechanics of cloaking devices on ships in Teens in Space, which we did not realize until we had to realize this in the Session Zero, was that cloaking devices basically for every hour that they are on, deplete and like make your spaceship overheat. So like the more like we had like the Patchwork is the jankiest almost spacefaring ship that we could possibly make it. So their heat meter was so low. And so every hour that passed with their cloaking device on, their heat meter would like bump up by 2 spots. Meaning, so I think they had like 7 spots of their heat meter, and we're at 6 spots because they were on the space station that they crash landed from at the beginning in the one shot. They were on that space station in the Session Zero with the cloaking device on for 3 full hours. So their ship was literally about to fall apart, and it was so poetic.
I imagine as we were running to get in this ship, it was like super hot. Like the outside of the ship, and I mean, like, oh, it's toasty. Because we became known as the Comet because we burned up on re-entry. I'm pretty sure when we start the session, we just finished rebuilding the outside of the Patchwork.
Yes, that's where we picked up, is that we were rebuilding the outside of the Patchwork because I remember describing the scene coming in from re-entry at both the beginning and the end of the Session Zero, at the beginning of the one shot, and being like, the doors are falling off, and you just hear like the doors and paneling and just things are falling off from re-entry on into this planet, and just the cackles of 4 teenagers just coming down
just on an open
just
channel,
on an open channel. Woof.
Oh, yeah.
Did we ever like fully talk about that Session Zero?
I don't think we did.
Session?
We have.
I think, okay.
We should.
Alright, it's story time. Who wants to? I'm gonna start it up. I will say I'll start off by saying, this Session Zero, I had 0 plans. All I knew was they're going to go on the space station and then crash land, because that's what we had decided when we were creating our characters, and how like the bonding moment of everyone on the team was that. So I knew that that's what we were going to do, but I knew nothing else.
Yeah,
And
like to preface this, we literally met up for the Session Zero just to get like the character sheets and like the ship sheet and everything done, and then spontaneously started just role-playing the characters and role-playing an entire like first session just out of nowhere.
A 3-hour
There was
session.
no prep.
Just to learn the mechanics of the game so that Bree could get confidence in running it, we could get confidence in playing our characters, and it turned into a full session. It was wonderful.
Bree
It
fucking
was
killed it.
the best.
So good. You just like, we basically met up with the goal of like, okay, so we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about tech things, because this is a lot of like, it's my first time, like, it wasn't my first time producing an actual play ever, but it was my first time producing an actual play not on Rule of Lore, so like not for people who had been on actual plays a bunch before. And so I was like, okay, so I want to talk about some of like the things there and like the tech stuff that we have talked about, and then like we'll finish kind of putting our characters and ship together, and then I don't know, maybe like roll dice for, like make up a couple random scenarios, roll dice for an hour, and then call it good. And then we did the tech stuff, and then proceeded to play a full 3-hour session of Teens in Space that Bree just pulled out of her ass. Like
pantsing the whole session.
This is what I was like. I had earlier, again, another name drop. I had earlier that week talked to Lucas about how to run a one-shot, or just how to run anything at all, because I was like, hey Lucas, this is my first time doing this, and you do actual plays. What the fuck am I supposed to do? And he's like, well, Brie, I'm a pantser. And I'm like, great, I'll do that. So I had no plan.
It gives me so much joy, because like Lucas is a pants GM, I'm a pants GM, and I knew that you were a pants writer, having worked with you for so long. And so like when it came to Marketplace Mayhem, I was like, I am so ready for Bree to just like zone out thinking about lore for 2 weeks and then just pull an entire game out of nowhere, out of that. Because like that's pretty much the way that it works writing the Phoenix with you, where you're like, okay, I need to work on the script for a bit, and then you will disappear from reality and social media and the world for like a few days, and then you'll come back and be like, I got a script.
Here's a script. You need to pare it down because I went too hard. Yeah.
John, I need you to pair this 40-page script. I'm like, all right, okay, all right.
Where can we cut some corners here? But yeah, so the session 0 basically started out that way, and we were like, okay, we narrated the Patchwork like coming in. They had planned to like be in the space station. They had already like set up all the things they needed to do with like the credentials and things, and they like turned on their cloaking device, which was like the first thing that they did, and then they came out of the thing ready to like just go and like explore on the space station and like learn a rumor about Monty, because that was the other thing that was the hook for what the the first session was going to be, and I was basically going to give them the hook.
Forgot about the Go-Gurt.
Oh, don't worry, I'm not going to forget about the Go-Gurt. Don't you worry. But we did that. Rowan was very nice to a Azrak person that was like, what the absolute fuck is going on? This is not the spaceship that's supposed to be landing here. And they're like, I don't get paid enough for this. And totally like let them off, and Rowan was very, very nice to them. And then
Rowan brought them froyo.
Yes. And so we went into the thing. Everyone except for Casper was like super into this really, like, I made up this like very like, it's like, if you're gonna go to the space station, you gotta go to the froyo shop. Like, it's the froyo shop that has all of the flavors for every space race in the entire Milky Way. And so it was just like an open froyo shop that they for like 10 minutes narrated what their flavors of froyo were.
It was amazing.
I remember Casper's flavor being something super weird. I think it was like mussels or something, like something seafood related.
Yes.
Something really weird.
Yeah. What did I
like
decide on for Rowan?
I don't know. I was like, it's any flavor. You can
I
find any
several.
flavor.
I thought you combined several flavors.
I think I described Rowan going through the equivalent of like, you know, like when a kid is confronted with a soda fountain for the first time and their eyes just go wide and their pupils just go like like, and then they just and get like a splash of everything, including water. Like, I'm pretty sure that was the experience that Rowan had at the froyo shop.
In my notes, I have bot fights. The fuck?
We have to talk about, oh my god, what's his name? Ninja
God, what is his
Murder,
name?
whatever. Oh, okay, so basically what happened is, like, I didn't know how they were going to, like, learn this, the rumor about, to, like, for the hook of what they were going to do in the one-shot, and, Nika was like, I'm gonna look for a place, I'm gonna look for a seedy underbelly on the space station. And me being like, I don't want to say no because it's an Alliance space station. So let me figure out how the fuck this is gonna work. And so I basically created a seedy underbelly, like, tech bro bot fighting ring on this space station. Where the Patchwork crew made a bot to fight in this bot fighting ring, and I would like you all to describe what this is, what you guys created.
Didn't we basically make like we basically made like a murder Roomba with a glitter bomb?
It was a one punch. It was like supposed to deal one. It wasn't supposed to win. It was just supposed to deal one.
It was a distraction.
Spectacular punch that's just super distracting. In fact, I think we built like a Rock'em Sock'em sized robot to fight a death bot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and like the whole plan was to program this very, very long, very cuss word filled speech in a Boston accent.
I forgot about that.
That's right.
and just
That's right.
kind of the robot going in and just going ham and just shit talking the enemy for like 5 minutes before the fight actually starts.
Yes.
Like,
So that
just
we
the
have
most-
time to
Yeah.
actually do our heist.
Your plan, I think, was to get in, enter your bot, not have the bot be good at fighting at all. It's just for a distraction, so you're just coming in with like a shit-talking robot, and then immediately
full heal.
Yeah, and then right immediately when the other bot was going to like attack you, would explode.
To be fair, it also had a single punch in it. Just a single, like, a boxing glove
It
that
had a
also...
little like toy boxing glove in it.
Spring-loaded boxing
And
glove.
they just shoved as many fireworks as they possibly could into this tiny little thing. And then once it was attacked, it would fully explode. And so that is the bot that they made, and I know I wrote it down somewhere. I can't remember the name of this robot. It is like Ninja Murder Bot 69 2000
Like-
or whatever.
Yeah, it was something like that.
Dr. Doom, Professor
I still
Ninja,
like that it's
Oh,
technically
Doom,
one-
Professor.
Yeah.
I still like
Captain
that
Death?
it's technically one at the very
Yeah,
end.
yeah. It ended in
Something
like
like
Captain Death. Yeah.
something like that. And it's all on lead speak.
All in lead
Mhm.
speak.
Yes, it was all elite speak.
So they make this robot, and then they go down to the place where they are presumably are able to like get into like the bowels of the space station where this bot fighting ring happens, and they just barely pass their persuasion check on the two guards to get into like the elevator that goes down. And it was one of those things where I was like, oh, I'll help, or I'll help, oh, I'll help, because they're like, oh, we're not good at speaking, we're kids. And then they were able to go down. They were entered into the fight, and then they basically all split up to like learn the rumor of like, and the rumor was basically that like the Alliance bad guy. That is literally his canon name, because I have not named him.
Let me see if I still have my notes, because I think he
Oh.
did give us a name in the end.
Did I give him that? Did I give him the name in the
And you
end?
said that it might change because like
And
they
that it
didn't
might
have an
change.
official name yet. I remember now. That was happening while we were set up for the fight, because the fight we used it as a distraction to steal the hover car.
Yes, that was the other thing. They went and they didn't go in looking for the rumor because they didn't know that the rumor was going to be there. They just their players went in looking for the rumor. The characters went in to steal a hover car.
Or like it was more like a hover ATV. Like it was like that's what teenagers would want. Like we don't want a hover car. It's literally like one of those ATVs that all four of us sit in.
Yep.
But it's a hover ATV kind of thing.
It was
An
basically
oversized
it's
hover gator.
basically like in Star Wars the little like things on Tatooine that they or like the little hover cars in Star Wars. That's basically what they stole.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've actually found the notes
Ooh.
of what you gave me.
Okay, cool.
So I kind of like copied the data from a PDA from one of the tech bros, or no, not from one of the tech bros, from one of the Alliance people.
Mm-hmm.
And he was working under General Vivano, is the name that you gave me, which I think was the name of the bad guy. And the very short notes were, it's AI related, it's mentioning some ruins with a name that we cannot decipher,
Mm-hmm.
and it's mentioning a Galatech shipment.
Mm-hmm.
Which all
That's-
comes back in the actual play.
Yes, that all comes back in the actual play. That is the rumor that they heard that they wanted to look into because the Alliance and Galatech were doing some shady business, and both the tech and the tech bro that the Alliance person was talking to was from Galatech, and Galatech is the corporation on the Marketplace that owns that museum. Fun fact.
The
I don't know if we got
Alliance is
into that or
pulling a
not.
Trick or treat. We're gonna pull a trick or treat.
Yes.
Just as an aside about Galactech, Bree, when she was doing her planning, messaged our work Discord and was like, "What's a good name for like a tech company?" or something like in a sci-fi tech company. I was like, and I just like I thought about it for like 3/4 of a second and then just fired back Galactech.
And I was like, perfect.
And
Done.
then I think Brie was like, "Fuck, that's good."
Done.
And
Canon.
like, I mentioned it to Lucas the next day at Writer's Room because, like, you know, for those of you unaware, I also help write for Infinite Horizon, which is a sci-fi spacefaring, like super heroic actual play over on Rule of Lore, and we actually at one point did go through and make up a bunch of corporation names. And I was like, Lucas, how did we not make that one? How am I just now hitting this pun after 2.5 years of running Infinite Horizon with you? And he's like, I don't know, but it's great.
So yeah, thank you to John for making Galatech for me. So yeah, that's the rumor that they heard, but that's what starts the one shot of them trying to like figure out what the Alliance has to do with this weird shipment from this ruin, and watch the one shot to figure out how that happened, what that is all about, and how that relates to the characters in this story. I've told it much better then, and I'll probably won't tell it as good now. But and then. So they did that, and once we got the rumor, everyone was like, okay, we kind of, like, we've been playing for almost 3 hours. I should probably, like, eat and go sleep or whatever. Like, great, okay. Let's race through how we get to the planet. And so, I made them do some rolls to figure out how to, like, steal the legally distinct hover car. I see you, Gilly. And they,
up into two teams. One team is to run and prep the ship. The other team is like in the hover car, leads security on a wild chase through the actual, like, we're driving through a place we're not supposed to be driving.
Yes, you all like. Oh yeah, because wasn't it Buttercup and
Casper, I think.
Yeah.
left to go start the spaceship, and Rowan and Monty drove the hover car through the space station on like a high-speed chase with all of these tech bros coming after them. And you know, I had to do some piloting checks or whatever, and is that like end of the theme thing where they like opened the hatch of their big space van and drove the hover car, like basically taking up the rest of the space van room other than like the pilot's seat in the front, and then they closed it, and then that's when we realized that the cooking device burned their fucking van and they couldn't fly. I was like, guys, I remember being like, guys, how long do you think we've been in the space station for? And they're like, I don't know, like 3 hours. I'm like, good. Any more than that, and you wouldn't have been able to take off. And they're like, what? And I was like, okay, so,
Oh, I remember trying to cool down the patchwork as Buttercup.
Yeah.
That wasn't the deal.
Oh
yeah,
boy.
Buttercup was like in full like Kaylee from Firefly panic mode.
Yes, like those videos of people driving a car through the mall. 100%. That is exactly the vibe. But a small teen robot and a small teen tree going through a space station.
It's less like a car and more like a golf cart.
Yeah, just like whee! Yeah, it's like it's like if
a souped up tech bro golf cart.
Yes.
Yeah.
Souped up tech bro golf cart that they didn't use in the one shot at all, and it's very funny to me.
Nope.
Yeah, we basically
had to leave it.
Yeah.
Sorry for Stravis. Sorry, John.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna say, like, we basically the session 0 is basically the explanation how we got the mechanical benefit of choosing to have a rover in our ship.
Yes. Yeah, they had a mechanical benefit of having a rover. So if we play again ever, they have a rover. Didn't touch it on the first one, but they do have one. I also see that 12 of you said more, so I appreciate you. Thank you very much.
I know Monty wants to help a certain a museum curator with their collection. I
have ideas. I have some ideas of where this could go. if we do more, and trying not to step on the toes of the Phoenix universe, because the Marketplace Mayhem is in tandem with the Phoenix comic universe. So anything that happens in either of those will make waves in the other one. And we'll get into that. We'll get into that later. But yeah, so basically their cloaking device heated up their van, and they took off as fast as they could before the force field could close to keep them in there, and they just, like a comet, with the clutchest, Monty's roll at the very end, oh my god, the end.
That's the spaceship on fire.
The roll at the end, Monty failed his piloting check failed their piloting check to go for re-entry, and while Matt had to go to the bathroom real quick, John was like, "Hey Brie, can we break the rules of the game real quick? Can I give Monty my luck?" And I was like, "If you roll above," I don't remember what I said, but if you roll above this, yes you can. And John rolled above it, and I was like, okay, when Matt comes back, we can do it. And then Matt rolled literally one above the target number he needed, and I was like,
Yeah,
oh!
my pilot.
So close to death.
It exploded because I think my piloting check is a D20. I rolled a 20 on that. On the reroll was a natural 20. I think.
Yes,
Oh, no.
I think so.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys were so close to death before we even started filming.
I know, it was wild. And then at the end, I was playing around with sound things, and I was like, "Hey Bree, could you just do me a favor and describe the what do you call it, the patchwork making a very hasty re-entry?" And then I just pushed record and pushed a sound pad button, and then Bree proceeds to just pull this beautiful narration out of nowhere. And I was like, "Okay, cool, thank you," and then played it back. I was like, "Cool, good, glad sound levels are good. Thank you for that." Thank you for this gift.
You should post that somewhere. I would be okay with if you wanted to post that somewhere.
Yeah, hold on. Let me dig it up and see if I can slap it in the Phoenix channel here.
Yeah, so that's why the beginning dialogue is like Stravis proving to his followers that, see, I told you they lived.
Yes. A lot of people thought that they died because they were very close to death, and they were a little comet. But yeah, and so that's how we get to the beginning of the one shot. You are now caught up. But we have, if anyone has any questions about that as well, you're more than welcome to ask. But Chesic has a question for me about GMing, so I thought I would answer that real quick. Question. Oh, wait, that's John's question. Question, how did you find being a dungeon master / game master? Would you do it again? Would I do it again? Yes. How did I find it? It was honestly much easier than I thought. The only hard part, I talked about this a little bit in the Rule of Lore Q&A that I did a few weeks ago, probably back in April or in May. I don't remember when that was. Sometimes recently. It's on Rule of Lore's YouTube if you want to go check that out. Talked about GMing and stuff. The only thing that's hard about GMing that I found was that you have to know the rules. Because if you're a player, you only have to know your rules. You don't have to know the game's rules. But if you're a GM, you have to know the game's rules. And that was the only part I had a hard time with, because I am mostly usually a player, and I'm mostly also usually don't pay attention to rules, and I love to stretch rules as far as they can go. And being a GM, it was weird being the voice of reason. As much as it was. But I had a very, very good time, and I would totally do it again. I'd love to be a GM more often. I really want to GM for D&D, mainly because I know that system really well. But yeah, also there are more questions. People are asking questions. This is exciting.
If I can go.
Oh yeah, go for it.
All right, I'm gonna roll to see which question I pick. Once I find my oh, I lost my dice. I'm not gonna roll. I'm making it exciting. Okay, Otis. John. What did you like best about producing?
Oh, what did I like best about producing? That's a good question. I think like playing the sound, like going and looking for a whole bunch, especially after our one shot, and then prodding Bree a little bit about like places she thought we would go and things we thought we might do. Going and finding a bunch of music and like sound pad stuff for various scenes to play during them was one of the things that I really enjoyed. And I will say, I did not listen to the entirety of Bree's message in advance. She said, spoilers, don't listen to this. And I kind of ignored that for about 30, 40 seconds of the message from Monty's creator, because I was like, I want something that will fit the timing of this and something that matches the energy that this has. And so I wound up listening to about a minute of that so that I could find a suitably heartbreaking piece of music to play with it.
That wrecked me.
Yeah, it was.
I was trying so hard. Don't cry. Okay, cry a little bit. Don't start bawling. Don't start bawling. Yeah.
First Clone, that's not a question, but I love you too.
Yes, thank you very much, First Clone. You're very sweet, and welcome on in.
But yeah, I think that was my favorite thing that I got to do as producer was Bree was like, aha, I have made a crime to destroy the feelings of the players and the audience. And I was like, I got you. I'm going to make it so much worse. I'm going to make it so much worse.
I really appreciated that, because when you told me, you're like, I watched a little bit of it for music cues. I was like, did you hear anything? They're like, I heard like the beginning bits of it. I was like, okay. As long as you didn't hear as long as you didn't watch the whole thing, because I need you to be absolutely wrecked along with the rest of them. I need that for my soul.
I need that for my soul. I need you to be destroyed.
Speed on emotional damage I inflict.
Emotional damage.
Also, my dad asked, what about the new canon that is introduced in the one-shot for, like, it being, in the Phoenix universe? And yes, the new canon that I introduced in the one-shot with Monty and the Marketplace stuff and how the Alliance is dealing with that and all of that stuff, that is, I will say, that is canon within the Phoenix universe. I will say, because Matt chose to be an AI not related to the Alliance, I was like, okay, how the fuck does this work? What is true about AI in my universe? And I went down the longest rabbit hole, and it took me so long to figure out how everything was, like, going to work out. And then I, like, created this, like, entirely new lore about AI in the Phoenix universe and everything, and, like, how the Marketplace kind of, like, is even more important to the universe than just being the starting planet in the comic, because the Marketplace was the first planet I had ever created in the Phoenix universe, and I really wanted to go back there because there's so much untapped lore on the Marketplace, and I wanted to put everything together. And so, long story short, yes, everything that's introduced in the one-shot, all of the new canon with AI and what the Alliance is doing, is canon within the Phoenix universe. And thank you, Matt, for making me do that.
We're getting a lot of good questions.
There was a couple of moments early on in development where I was like, maybe I should just play an alien, and and then like Bree, we had a meeting, and Bree's like, so like I've been doing all this lore, and I went down this deep rabbit hole, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm definitely playing a robot. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Because early on I was like, Matt, I'll just let you know that it's gonna be very hard for me for the AI thing, but like you love playing robots so much, I didn't want to deprive you, and I love AI so much. I was like, how do I make this work? We're gonna make this work. And I made it work, and it's good.
Thank you so much. It was awesome being able to play Monty and learn so much more about AI and like how that all came about in your setting and your world. I really like it.
I haven't found the exact test from earlier, but I am going to post a different test that I did in the Phoenix chat because it's very funny. It contains a completely different video clip that I was using to test audio levels.
Uh-oh.
Rabbit hole's good. I would say I think most of the character actions are the character actions have not changed much of anything in the canon. It's still pretty like bottled together in it. So if we keep doing more and the characters blow up my universe somehow, that's obviously not canon. But it'll
Can
be
happen.
mostly canon. If we keep doing this, it'll be mostly canon. Rainy, hello, welcome on in. Hello.
I mean, if we go
But
exploring...
imagine how funny that would be for someone who doesn't actually watch the one-shots, and who's just reading the Phoenix.
Yeah.
And then just the comic just suddenly ends with everything being wiped out, and it's just like just like a party, a portrait of the party just sitting around a campfire somewhere. It's like, whoopsie.
There's a random panel of like alliance saying wanted, and it's these 4 random teenagers. It's a panel in the Phoenix crew is walking past an alliance bulletin somewhere, and it's just in the background. There's just 4 teenagers wanted by the alliance for some reason.
Who knows? Yes, but thank you for posting that, John. I appreciate it. We've got some questions in chat, but this sort of line of thinking of like how Matt created his character is kind of a question that I've thought of. So as we keep getting these questions going in chat, I actually have a question for you all. Is that how did y'all decide who you wanted to play?
Oh, it was so hard. It was so hard. I cannot claim nearly as much ownership or investment in this universe as Brie can, because it's obviously like the Phoenix is very much her baby. But needless to say, I adore every single one of the alien species in this comic, including ones that have not been introduced yet, and some that we came up with kind of just for the purposes of the Team in Space, like things that we were adapting or expanded upon. And so it was very difficult, and I settled on I want to play a cute alien motherfucker with tentacle hair,
like the dyed hair.
But I came round to this. I was like, what would happen if I was just sitting there thinking, I think Brie, you were talking about dyeing your hair pink because you frequently do.
Mm-hmm. As I frequently do.
As happens. The question lodged in my brain: what would happen if an Arborian drank colored water with their roots, which is to say their hair?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, rainbow hair. And then from that point on, I was just like, I am going to play a teenager with rainbow hair. That's the whole character concept.
That's all I'm doing.
And I was like, I will think up the flimsiest possible justification for this. They're a teenager. That's because the Mother Tree wanted them to experience the whims of wanted them to experience teenage whimsy. Whimsy. So, and then that quickly became a very fascinating character concept for me, is like, how does a being that contains the generational memories of an entire planet and several generations of these humanoid sort of vessels that go out into the world, go out into the galaxy to learn about other cultures, like how do you make that an impulsive teenager? And I had a lot of fun trying to figure that out and play that. So that became very quickly very fascinating to me, and that's how I arrived at Rowan.
Amazing. Who's gonna speak first?
Haku, what about you? For the...
Alright, I mean, for me, finding the character to play, well, the race to play was, I went through the entirety of Bree's comic 4 times that day. And I was like, interesting. So many choices. And then I read through the different choices that she had given us in the different race options, and I was like, you know what? I really, really like Rose. Like, Rose is my favorite character. And I was like, I want to be a butterfly, but with wings. It's like actual wings, unlike Rose, who has very tiny wings. And I really like the aspect of them not like of the way Rose speaks. That's something I like. And I like the reason behind it also, because their primal form of communication is body language and pheromones, which are fucking hard to translate. And I was like, I want to play that. And then I played that in session 0, and I was like, I can't speak with this person. It's interesting. But yes, it's just me wanting to get my claws onto someone who is just talking. And then I was like an engineer, because I wanted to also speak some sentences. But those sentences are pre-installed into the translator. And basically Buttercup has hacked their own translator to say those things on specific pheromonal cues.
Those my favorite thing, that having your like, this is my pre-recorded thing, and then that have it like, that was so fun. I loved your interpretation of how the translators worked.
Because I mean,
clients.
if you're like a teenage bug and you do not communicate in sentences, but like the teens have like slang, and you can't really use slang with a translator, how would you use slang? And my solution was they just take recordings from the internet, cut it together, and assign them their own cues.
Audio memes.
I love it. It's just sound bites are how I communicate. What about you, Nico?
Casper was actually pretty easy for me to get to. He's kind of a port of a character that like he's a TTRPG character that I've had since almost the beginning of me playing TTRPGs, that I never actually got to play in the original system that he's from. And I once ported him to D&D, and I also didn't get to play him there. And then I thought, okay, this is a one-shot. I really, really, really want to play this character at some point in my life. Why not now? So I very quickly landed on the kind of like core idea of Casper. But like the actual fleshing out of him for the Marketplace Mayhem one-shot didn't really click in until we talked about the marketplace and the kind of people that live there and the kind of culture that it has. And I really knew that I wanted to play someone local, because we wanted to set it on the marketplace, and we wanted to show a lot of like the people that are there, and kind of how life on the marketplace is for people. So I really like very quickly narrowed it down to like the races that are like quote unquote natively on the marketplace, and it was either the pangolin race. I forget the name.
Not Arborians. Alorians.
Alorians.
I was in college and I was tired, and they're two very close.
Yeah. Who are like technically the real inheritors of the planet of all the other races that died, or the humans, who are like the second largest population, or I think the largest population at this point.
Humans, I think it's humans are, well, of the marketplace specifically, I think humans are the largest population, and then Alorians and Azracs I think are second. Even though it's weird for the Azracs to be on this planet, but because it's hot as fuck, but they're the second alliance race. They're there.
Yeah. And as much as I love Alorians, they didn't quite fit the archetype that I wanted to play with Casper, which is kind of like the fast-talking, pickpocketing rogue type, right? So I pretty much just said, okay, going for a human. And that's kind of where he comes from.
I love that. I wanted to ask this, like, for everyone to know, but also for me to know, because, like, I know what we talked about when we were doing this, and, like, how, like, what's the marketplace like, what you guys were interested in, and, like, seeing your guys' like interests shift. But I was curious to be like, what was the turning point for what you guys decided to do your characters. But if you would like to talk more about yours as well, Matt, I kind of like I asked you earlier, but if you'd like to talk about it as well.
I honestly like Fi as a character, but also like I wanted to know more about AI And so the original concept was maybe one of these teens built Monty. And like, so is Monty originally an AI or is this a really smart robot? Like, who knows? And that was the original idea, but I don't think anyone else wanted to build to like have that kind of connection. So then I started and I asked Brie, I was like, is it possible that maybe Monty is from a previous civilization? And I think, or is that too crazy? And then I think you said maybe.
Maybe.
And then I said, okay, well, in that case, and then I said, well, and then I literally, his backstory was he woke up basically in what he would describe a hole in the ground, and then crawled out of the hole in the ground, and then ran into, was it Casper?
Yep.
Or, yeah, ran into Casper. So I that way I could not force, like, oh, now you have to give me lore. I was like, I don't need to know lore. I play a character that knows nothing other than they woke up in the ground.
Yep. I really appreciated that, but I am myself, and I was like, okay, now I need to know where the fuck Monty came from, because everyone wants to know what Monty's deal is. Because when I asked my players, like, what do we want this one shot to be about? And I was like, what's Monty's deal? I was like, okay. What is Monty's deal? Let's find out.
You're like, all right, that's a great question. All right, Bree, what is Monty's deal?
So that's what the whole one shot was about. So thank you very much for that. But yeah, Matt was like, I think I just woke up in the middle of the ground. I am from a previous civilization. You don't have to worry about me. I was like, oh, I'm gonna worry about you.
I think, if I remember correctly, we got to that point as we were talking about our characters collectively, because we were talking about the spaceships. And one of the spaceship archetypes in Teens in Space is an ancient ship.
Yes.
Right? And I was kind of like pitching that as maybe a tie-in to like the marketplace for us as a group, is that we maybe just find like an ancient ship, like an ancient spacefaring ship from one of the previous civilizations. We kind of like ditched that idea in favor of the patchwork later on, but I think that is where we came up with the Monty being found instead of built kind of thing.
That's sort of that's what I remember
in January and March too, because we were all doing character concepts at the end of the year.
Yeah,
we had our like character meeting in like January, and then we had our session 0 like a few weeks before the actual session. And okay, I think I don't want to step on anyone's question toes, so I think we've got some really cool questions in chat that I want to touch on, but we are all also at like about halfway. If any of us need to go use the bathroom or anything, that's what I have to do. But if anyone's like, if y'all just want to vamp while I go to the bathroom and choose some of your favorite chat questions, I will be right back. I've drank a lot of water.
I saw an amusing one from your dad that I can answer real quick while you go.
Okay, sweet. Okay, I'll be right back. Everybody.
Danica asks, do you have the panel yet where the Phoenix is landing somewhere and the patchwork is taking off in the background? And the answer is no, we do not yet have that panel in the Phoenix. I will spoil that much being the comic editor, but yes, I am going to advocate for the patchwork being in the background somewhere in this comic. Next time we are on the marketplace, I super hope to have some kind of Marketplace Mayhem cameo. Whether it's like a character in the background or the patchwork making a brief appearance or something like that. I would love to have it.
I mean, I love Lemon's art of the patchwork. Instead of it being from the actual play, it's the session 0 of us burning up in reentry, and I love it. Yeah.
You cut out for that one, Matt. Drat. So you got a wish list item of a mic in the future? Just, a question for science.
I see another Chessic question in chat that we can quickly answer, John,
Uh,
if you want to.
Oh, yeah. So did you base the rules off of other games? Chesik's question was, so did you base the rules off of other games, or is this completely new? And if so, how did you decide the different areas? So what Bree and I did is we based it off an existing game, Teens in Space by Hunters Entertainment. So let me grab the... I should have had my copy handy for the... today, but here we are. So Teens in Space by Hunters Entertainment and Renegade Games together. It's a fantastic iteration on their game Kids on Bikes, of which there is also a Kids on Brooms that's like very Harry Potter-esque, but this is, Teens in Space is basically Kids on Bikes, but Star Trek-y. And so that's kind of what's going on like with the game. And so, as with many instead of choosing a class, I'm going to start here. There's a lot of like playable aliens that you can choose that give you various bonuses. And so instead of like adapting any of the existing ones and just renaming them, what we did is we kind of took a look at like the design philosophy for the Teens in Space aliens, and then we applied that to the ones that we had for the Phoenix, because the great thing about those is Bree already had a noggin full of cultural anthropologist lore about every single one of these aliens that existed already. So it was really just up to us to figure out how to stat them, which is, when you have a little bit of design and homebrewing experience, not a particularly difficult endeavor. Because it was just like, okay, so give about +3 stats and a couple of things, and then like, assign some suggested like tropes and some other like suggested kind of bonuses that these things get. And that's how we wound up with the Phoenix playable races, more or less like a month or two of Bree and I kind of going back and forth and sitting down in meetings and using a template that we had created of Teens in Space aliens to make playable races of the Phoenix character, or the Phoenix universe.
What'd we answer?
Yeah.
What's happening?
Just a question about the system that we used and what we did.
Yep. Chesik just asked if we had based it off, and if it was an original system or if we had based it off of something else. And so I was like, a little of both. We homebrewed some stuff to go with a system by Hunter Z. So
yeah. All right. Any other questions that y'all wanted from the chat? I don't know how many you answered well.
Danny had a very critically important question, which is, what is the froyo flavor for each of the 8 alliance races?
I think now I'm gonna be real with you all. I haven't made all of them. I haven't made all of the canon alliance races. Most of the races I've made so far are not alliance core world races. I think I have like 4 or 5 of the alliance races nailed down. I have some ideas of other ones, and if this ever becomes this game also made me really go hard on like, okay, what were all of the things I drew, all of the random background characters I drew in chapter 1, and how many of them are race? What are they, and what do they do? Because I wasn't planning on them at all.
Danny, I don't know if you were tuned in, or like Danny says in all caps, wait, you haven't created them? And I don't know if you were here for us talking about the fact that like Bree and I are both, as writers and as GMs, pantsers, and then like our next closest GM friend, Lucas Santana, TM of Rule of Lore, also is a pants GMer. Like, I don't know why this is a surprise to you that we only have most of the Phoenix races like created.
We're all pantser
Okay.
GMs.
So one of them, actually, I think in the last few months you guys have helped me flesh this out, because we've talked about it a little bit on stream. But Azrak is one of them, Human is one of them, so that's 2. There's Slithians, which are the snake people. There's Drexels, which are the tall goblins with 4 arms. And those are the ones that I have names for. And now, And then we've got the bird people that show up in chapter 1 somewhere. We got those bird people. We've got the Chamibas that we created off of a joke on Twitter.
I made a joke on Twitter, and then you turned them into a race in our comic, and I can think of no better origin story to tell at a Comic-Con in 3 years.
Yes.
At that Twitter thread.
And then and then there is frog people, because they can freeze themselves. And I think we also thought of dog people. So those are the 8. Those are the 8 core ones. Frogs, dogs, and the frogs, the dogs, and the
little mech piloting
and
the amoeba people.
And the birds and the Chimibas. Those are the ones that I haven't really... Chimibas I fleshed out a little bit because for a joke, but the frogs, the dogs, and the bird people I haven't fleshed out at all. So, there we go. Gotta have... So we have cat people, we gotta have dog people.
It is... frankly, I feel a certain shame as your editor for not asking you to include a Chamiba in the bridge crew of in chapter 4 and the shots that we've had of them so far.
Yeah.
Just a little like a little blob piloting a mech with its little mech hands on the controls.
I think Danny's asking the hard-hitting questions. Dog people?
Relationship, please explain. Look, I'm shocked. Guys, I've created so many races that aren't part of the Alliance. So many. And
yeah,
like all of the ones that are the core races of the Phoenix universe just happen to be not an Alliance core planet race. I was like, why did I do this to myself? Like, Tico's people don't have a planet, so they're technically an Alliance race, but they're not one of the core planets that are on the Alliance logo, because they don't have a planet. Rose's people are isolationists, so they're allied with the Alliance, but they are not part of the Alliance, technically. Neither are the Arborians, because similar vibes. And the Gagnasay, well, we'll get into that in chapter 4. So...
We can't tell you about the Gagnasay because that is plot.
That's plot. So... And then the AI are, what are they? So...
Yeah, what are they?
What are they?
What are they?
Watch a one shot to find out.
How many races are the main races? There are 8. Well, there are the main races in the comic, and then there's the 8 core planet races of the Alliance, and that is the ones that I had just listed, of the Azracs and the Drexels and all those things. So I could probably tell you about the Azrac exhibit, the Drexel well, no, I haven't really fleshed out Drexels. I could probably tell you about the Azrac exhibit and the Chamiba exhibit, because I fleshed out those as a joke. This Q&A is just you guys shaming me and realizing that my world building is not as deep. It feels deep because I haven't fleshed it out. Do you know what I mean?
It's like, don't look over here.
Don't look over there.
No, listen, this is the experience of every writer, in that they make this like enigmatic, interesting, fascinating thing, and then they are just frantically like, there's nothing to see over here. Don't look behind my hand or my right shoulder, or no, I don't know what you could possibly mean. Like,
I didn't
to be fair, that's also the experience of every DM that made a homebrew world.
Yeah.
I didn't just shove a bunch of ideas in a closet and hope it stands up. No. Rogan! Hello! Thank you so
Welcome,
much
Raiders.
for the raid. Hello. Rogan, thank you so much for the raid. Hannah B, Adventures of Tony. Rogan, welcome on in. It is lovely to have you. Rogue Raid! We are doing a Marketplace Mayhem Q&A. If you like actual play stuff and want to hear about my first experience as a GM, stick around. Also, everyone please go follow Rogan. Rogan's incredible. I hope you had a lovely stream. Pay no attention to the man behind the green curtain. Exactly. And also, no worries about hopping off, Serena. I hope you enjoyed yourself, and thanks for sticking around in all of your questions. I saw your GM comments earlier about how you GM, and I appreciate it. Thanks for being here. Quickly shoves holes in the universe under the bed. Oh, hi there. Look at my nice world. Yes, exactly. Like, they're only holes because I haven't shined a light on them yet. Once I have to shine a light on them, I will. And I would really love, like, also, Rainy, I will definitely hit you up. And Gilly and everyone else that are like, please, I want to make races with you. I would love to do that. Talking about sci-fi is one of my favorite things. As y'all know, where you guys ask me a question about my universe, and we go down a fucking rabbit hole of... We go down it gets sexual at some point, but we get some good things in there before we hit that point.
At some point we start talking about boobs, but like, you know, there's a lot of interesting conversation that happens before then.
Before then. Yes,
I mean, I myself am just wondering where the crab people are, because we all know that's the pinnacle of evolution, right?
Crab
people. Yes, thank you. I don't know where they are either, but they're there somewhere. I remembered that you guys asked me to make crab people, and I have a note. I think it's in the Phoenix Race document that John made me make. It's in there.
That John made me make. It's true. Every so often I was like, Bree, we need to write things down.
It can't just live in your goddamn head.
I believe also... No, okay. It's not on the like game document that we were working off of, but we didn't stat the frog people, but I did put on them just in all caps Frogge, like Frogge.
Yes, I think that's the title of the frog people's race right now was Frogge, and I think the only thing under them is they can they're able to withstand like temperatures or whatever.
What it says is bonuses can be turned into a popsicle. What? Exclamation question mark, exclamation question mark, exclamation question mark. And then the blurb says, a frog beeth a small beastie with 4 legs, which liveth both on water and on land. It is brown or great, like the whole thing of that. And then the drawback is, if he be not eaten.
Can be turned into a popsicle.
Yeah, it's not a complete sentence. It just says can be turned into a popsicle. What?
You have a name for the bipedal semi-aquatic species. I can't say that because it's got extra.
We do actually have a working name for the bird people too.
We do have a.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Look at me! I forgot my own lore. Look, I have a lot going on.
Oh yeah, under the bird people it says appearance burb.
I have posted a screenshot of the frog people in the Phoenix chat in Discord. These hire me, friends, for these are the kind of extremely detailed notes that you will get on your game documents while we are working in progress on something, while something is a work in progress.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Well, Raiders, I hope this is the content you came for. Rogan, I hope you had a very, very good stream. Thank you for the raid, and everyone, thank you so much for coming on in. If you're planning on sticking around, hit that live button, so you can hear me talk about my comic universe and also the one-shot that we did. This is the Q&A for it. Also, Rogan, you are more than welcome. I hope you had a good stream, and everyone also that came with the raid, even though this is a different format than usual, I still want to hear your favorite things about Rogan's stream. So, other questions. I think we still have some chat questions, if I'm not mistaken.
I think the last chat question was about the ice cream flavors.
Oh, yeah, it was about the ice cream flavors.
Yeah, I don't think we have any currently, but I do have a question for you, Bree, that I want to ask before we run out of time, because it is fittingly about running out of time. We ran pretty long during that one shot, and I think in our post-game talk, we talked a little bit about that you had more stuff planned for the session that you didn't get to. because we were kind of stretching very long. And I wanted to ask you if there's like anything that you're pretty sure you won't use in any future sessions that you didn't get to use in this one that you wanted to talk about. So any cut content.
Yeah, I can talk a little bit about the cut content. Most of the things that was cut content was what the kind of like build up things that you would find in the museum before you would found the disc that had the message for Monty on it. Basically to sort of lay the groundwork of like what these people what that civilization was, what kind of like befell them a little bit, just sort of like artifacts and things and bits of things that you like didn't that you wouldn't get the full picture of, but would start piecing together who the last civilization was before the Alorians are now the civilization on the planet. So I had a lot of like checks and things that you guys could like roll to see depending on like what you did, well, like what you would find if you did that, and we kind of went over them a little bit in that, but most of what was cut was just kind of like getting finding the thing that you needed to find that Haku found and then watching it. Because we needed to get to that point. That was the end of the session. So I kind of like once I realized that the Stravis conversation and you guys doing the thing with Stravis and having Stravis be your distraction was taking too long, I kind of had to be like, okay, we're just gonna get into the thing. You guys rolled so terribly, but I'm gonna try to get you into the thing and have you find the thing that you need, because that's the end of the session. So I didn't get to like really get into the other artifacts that you could have found from the civilization. And some of them were like, it was mostly just like silly mundane things to like kind of give you an idea of what they were like. One of which that you guys did find, which was very funny to me how John interpreted it, was like a chunk of wall that looked like a tree, and John's like, oh, I'm gonna pick that up. I'm like, it's a wall.
Yeah, like I heard you say that, and what I imagined is like, you know, a chunk of like a chunk that had fallen off the wall, like the size of like an 8.5 by 11 like print or something, like, or they had chiseled like out of a larger, or that had like fallen out of a larger relief or something. And no, it was like the whole wall. And so it was like, I, an Arborian teenager, will pick up this chunk of rock, this chunk of carved rock that weighs probably like 2 or 3 tons.
Yeah, I that tickled me to no end.
So what I'm hearing is we need to go back to this museum.
Yes. Like I'm down to like kind of go over the things that I remember. I have it written down somewhere, but like there's not a lot of things that are like spoilers that you guys wouldn't find. Like, it's easy to retcon being like, you guys just found this and whatever. So like one of the things was a giant wall that was like tree patterned on it. The other one was a vending machine that it was in a language that you couldn't read, and it had a bunch of like bars with bugs in them, like a vending machine like with old ancient like snacks with bugs in them. There was
that way I know how I have the urge to buy a bar there and eat it. But like the person, not Buttercup.
There was also that thermos that had like the temperature regulator. There was also you would be able to find like a portable heat lamp and like other things that had like words on it. And there was also a part of a sign that was in a language that you also wouldn't be able to understand, but that basically was a sign like in like smoothie colors. That was basically a sign for like a smoothie shop. That you'd be able to find. And I was going to use this like searching time for Monty to sort of like start maybe being able, like, getting the gears turning in Monty's head of like, oh, make this check to see if you like can read it, or if like if like, oh, if you want to like try to decipher it, to like have Monty be the only one to be able to read this ancient script, because it is the ancient civilization that Monty was a part of, so that like Monty would be able to read that like the vending machine was like Uncle Joe's Bug Bars, or like Auntie Anne's Smoothies type of vibe, and it was all basically like building up to be like, are these lizards? Are these people lizards? So I was like, what would ancient high-tech lizards have in like an office laboratory space? And that's sort of what I was, what would the Alliance be like, oh, this is interesting, it has script, and it would just be like, bug bot, like, it would just be like, it's a smoothie shop, and like, I thought it was funny, and to sort of like build up that narrative and have Monty be like, oh, I can read this? Can anybody else read this? Weird, and then build up that sort of reveal, but that was sort of the point, that was sort of my plan of that, but there we go.
This was something that didn't occur to me in the moment, because I was kind of caught up in like the production like side of things a little bit when it happened, and of course just like also caught up in like all of the other like little things were happening with other characters. But like part of me was like, was the big tree mural a reference to like the mother tree? Did somebody else discover that before the Alliance? Like one of the other like civilizations that lived on this planet, was there contact with the mother tree before it was as sentient as it is now? Like that's a whole, like, I realize that's like 7 questions in a row, but like it also could have just been a tree mural.
It wasn't a tree mural. It was a bark patterned thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it wasn't like, this is a tree. It was like, it's the type of like, it's like what bark, it's like it was like synthetic bark.
Oh, okay.
Because the lizards like would be like, they would be able to climb trees and stuff. This is like, so they would be able to utilize the walls and the ceiling and walk on them, rather than like it being a mural.
That's really cool.
So yeah, it's textured, so like, you know, their little suction cup fingers could like climb on the synthetic bark of it. So yeah, it was like tree texture, not tree mural. But I like where your head's at. That's fun.
Yeah, no, my
more mundane.
Oh my god, Danny, I'm not sure what fuck John Treenager was in reference to, but I love my little Treenager. So
like a cave of ancient tech reminiscent of Ariel's cave of human stuff. Yes. Museum person. This is a dinglehopper. Monty. It's a fork. Yeah, like that's sort of what I was trying to like reminisce, because that's sort of like my favorite thing about ancient archaeology is like, oh, look at this bowl. It's like, it's a bowl. Like, oh my god, this mural that someone made. It's like John was here. Like, it's really like the pure like joy of humanity of being like, we have so many ancient things from our awesome cultures, and like some of it's like, oh, this is like really important religious stuff, and some of it's like, this was a bug that someone had.
They, at a guess, drank out of it.
It's like, and I love it. I remember in the one shot you guys were fixating on the like the thermos. They're like, why does the thermos have a temperature regulator? It's like, because they're lizards and they're cold blooded.
They have to drink things that are a certain temperature.
They have to drink things that are
their own body temperature.
Yeah, and so I was like, it made me very happy, because the part of those like things that you guys like were fixating on were like, oh, is this like something that connects huge? And I'm like, this is how archaeology really is, and it's not. It's just mundane, and I love
it. Oh my god, the glee, the absolute glee on your face, and also confusion as we were stumbling through basically what I understand, because like Bree and I were hanging out a few weeks ago, and we drove past the old like museum archive where you used to work.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, no, I do understand now. I pictured this place when we were having the one shot, but I do understand now that just like it was just this place, wasn't it? Bree was like, yup. And I was like, damn, I wish I'd been inside.
Yeah, for those of you that didn't know, I used to work at my university's archive library. I was a student archivist at my archive library, and I basically modeled the museum off of the archive library. At least the way that the storage was structured. And Danny totally knocked it nailed. When they first came into the chat, I saw that Danny was talking about I love that the museum was just Bree's old job. It was just my old job. So when you guys were like, where is the fire escape? It's like, you came through the fire escape. There's not a. Why would there be a floor plan in the staff area? Because the staff should know where things are. Anyways, it was very fun, and I really enjoyed it to be welcome to my job. This is where I spent 3 years of my life. So.
Oh my god. The OSHA regulations debate.
Yes.
Me going wait, they don't have a building map on every floor in the firewell? Isn't that an OSHA violation? Isn't that against building code?
Yeah, thank you, Danny. Why would there be a map if the door is literally right there?
Because at least a lot of buildings, especially at least a lot of government buildings, do tend to have because in the event of a fire, you're not supposed to take elevators in buildings.
Yes.
A lot of times when you step into a stairwell, especially on the edges of buildings, usually on each landing, there is oftentimes a route out of the building, in case of fire, go this way kind of deal, which is essentially what I was looking for. It's not universal, but a lot of buildings, especially larger ones or ones with multiple floors, have them.
Yeah.
It's also right next to the elevator, so it'll say, in case of a fire, go this way to the stairs.
Yeah. And I mean,
or emergency.
I would say that it would have that. It just didn't have the map of the this is where the archives are, because why would they be because if you're at the door and it's the door is right there, why would it be and also just in case you want to go downstairs, there's also a door downstairs. I don't know. It's whatever. It was just very funny to me.
Yeah, no, it was, in hindsight, it was funny because we're both just
we obsessed
wait a minute.
over the map.
Yeah.
There's an elevator. There's a door. Go walk through one of them. But so I was like, okay, you go through the elevator and you go downstairs. But yeah, that was me learning. That's, fun jam things where you're right, okay, I'm just gonna make you go where you're supposed to go. Cause
whichever door you choose will have the place you want to go behind it.
Yes, exactly. So,
Schrodinger's path.
Danny says, I also love the small pause when with the small curators museum, Bree said, you get on the stairs, there's no elevator here. The small silence up, is this place not accessible? There's probably a ramp.
Most people don't park on the roof, also.
It made sense at the time. Of course, they would have
I mean, yes, I would say there's probably a ramp or some other way to get down. But you guys parked on the roof, and I was like,
all right,
okay, we'll go. There's stairs.
Oh my god, I do want to call out Danny's earlier comment, which is, what are these strange brick rings and all of these ancient Egyptian houses? So mysterious. What ritual purpose could they have? And then the reply is, Chickum soul. Baby chickums be stuck. Mama Chickum can hop over.
Yep. That's basically my favorite thing is the more I learn about ancient Egypt, the things that we have from ancient Egypt, it's they're people. I love it so much. And the fact of I was also having a hard time trying to figure out what type of stuff you would find in the museum, because it wasn't an ancient civilization where it's their technology was vastly different than the technology we have now. It was in terms of how techy it was, but it wasn't we know what a computer is. It's a computer. They have a screen and a computer box and some floppy disks or whatever. it was like, okay, that's not interesting. Like, what would be particularly, like, culturally interesting to, like, have in there? And so I had to think of those things, because they were, you know, basically like this, but just knew how to make AI technology. So it's like, they had computers and things.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, does anyone have any other questions for me? For everyone. I have more general questions, but if anyone wants to ask, I've done a lot of talking. Someone else talk.
For Bree.
Okay.
Because I asked John what his favorite part of producing was, but what I was going to say is, are there other parts of the Phoenix universe or the marketplace that you want to explore more through tabletop RPGs? Not specifically the comic, but like areas that you're like, this would be really great for, you know, role playing for games.
The marketplace is really the one that I wanted to deep dive more into in roleplay specifically, because I had developed so much, like, meat to it that I hadn't really, like, I was like, there's all of this stuff. There's all the different civilizations that are on it. It's this city-sized, like, this country-sized city. It has a spaceport. It's steeped in colonialism, and, like, it's like, I had all this meat to this planet that I didn't, like, that I made for a exhibition of my comic for my graduation in school that we hadn't really gotten to touch on at all. And so that's sort of like, and I love the storytelling medium of actual plays, of, like, go wild. Like, what parts of this do you enjoy? What parts of this do we want to flesh out? And, like, letting other people explore it and flesh it out for me, and then making that canon. I love that, because I'm only one person, and y'all know I am a pantser, and I'm like, okay, I could spend hours and hours and hours writing Tolkien-esque lore of this one planet, or I could make it a one-shot, and we could figure out what the fuck that's about, and have that go on like that. So there's lots of places in the Phoenix universe that I would love to explore, or love to, like, let's just go in a direction and see what we find, or, like, let's go to Earth and see what we find, or, like, I wanted to do the marketplace because it was tangentially related to the Phoenix lore, but isn't going to fuck up what I'm doing in the Phoenix. Like, and isn't, like, going to, like, it's only gonna add, it's not gonna, like, we blow up the universe, you know? So it's like, that's where I really wanted to be, but I would be very interested to see, like, if we were to go to space, like, after the events of the Phoenix happen, or when the events of the Phoenix get to more of the point where I think that they're going to get, to, like, have an actual play, or have some sort of, like, setting guide to just, like, put out in the world and be like, go. And whatever you guys, like, the Phoenix is one of those universes.
Starstruck Odyssey, that shit. Like,
yeah, I would love to Starstruck Odyssey the shit and be like, this is primed and ready for people to just create whatever story they want to. Because I know Danny, like, makes fun of it all the time, or you guys, like, when you guys make your own Phoenix OCs, and I'm like, okay, how does that work? I love that. It's not because I'm like, oh, that's impossible. It's like, okay, how, based on how the world works, how would this work? And we'd create some of the coolest characters because of it, like Rowan and Monty, and I love, like, Buttercup's interpretation, and Casper's, like, this is the first time we actually see, like, a person in the marketplace, and with Danny's Sproutly, and with, like, us creating Stravis together on stream. It was like, it's not just my world, it's everyone's world, and that's what I want it to get to eventually. Because it's set in the Milky Way. That's where we live.
So the Phoenix, the RPG is coming soon, I hear. Soon.
10 years. Like, soon. In my lifetime.
Listen, Bree and I talk often and at length about how to make the Phoenix in a way that will get it out into the world, and also, hopefully, Get us paid for it.
Yes.
Because making a comic is a lot of work.
It's
Even
a lot of labor
yeah.
and not a lot of money.
To give again a peek behind the scenes here at what we do, even I do like a bit of stuff as like the editor and helping in terms of make sure that things are polished, but Bree is usually the one who's holding the stylus when it happens. Like there's a world in which I could take over lettering theoretically. And
we've talked
like,
about it.
We've played with that idea actually a little bit with one of the first pages we were coming back, and we haven't really like revisited that idea very much again, but
The Brie Marillion!
the Brie Marillion. It's incredible. But like Brie is basically, to go through the stages of creating a comic here, a thumbnail artist, a sketch artist, the person doing like lines and inks, flats, and full color, in addition to also being a letterer and the writer, which is about 7 jobs. So,
and that's why I'm so happy that I had these guys to write this freaking one shot with me. Y'all brought so much life to this, so thank you very much. Yeah. We've still got about almost, I think we've got like 30 minutes left, because you guys have a hard out at, well, maybe like 25 minutes left, so
yeah, so we have time to walk it out.
let's do some rapid fire questions. Does anyone have any like fun, silly questions that we could answer quickly? Because most of my
Nico.
questions are, all right, yeah, go.
Nico, who do you think Casper gets in the most trouble with in his spare time?
Oh, I have an answer for that. I'm curious to see what everyone thinks it is, though. So,
See, I want to say it's Rowan because I know my character, but I actually think that it might be Monty.
Interesting.
I think that it might be Monty.
I was thinking it was Monty. I was thinking either Monty or Buttercup, honestly, because we know that Buttercup has a penchant to do flips.
Kick flips.
I'm making a poll for science.
Gets to weigh in.
All right, I will wait with answering this until that poll is through.
Okay, good.
I mean, there is a valid argument for. I'm trying to remember who I made it for. That I made in which Casper is trying to teach Monty how to be better at lying.
Yes, I remember that.
Oh yes,
This is so cute.
we gotta post
funny.
those somewhere so people can watch them. Matt for one of the gift exchanges for Rainy made some choice conversations between the characters, and it was so good.
One of them was also Rowan doing a hair dyeing stream on Twitch, and Monty was the camera.
Yes.
I just had this funny idea. We were I don't even remember what we were doing, but we were talking about something, and I just said, "Oh, I keep having these little vignettes, these little short scenes with each character, and here's the one with Rowan. It's Monty, not Monty like an ash cam, but look, Monty is the camera."
Yes, Monty is the camera. It's so good. And I'm looking for the name. I'm looking for the name for you, Danny. But I will say that the race of people that created Monty are named Elvarians. And that you spell that as Elvarian. I love Aans.
L-V-A-R
I-A-N. That is
I-A-N.
that is that. And then I'm looking for also the person that did the.
We have a winner.
We have a
We
winner.
have a winner.
Ooh,
And
Buttercup.
Chat
think it's
is
Buttercup.
actually right. It would be Buttercup because here's the thing, right? Casper's too cautious to be caught doing dumb stuff with Monty. And Rowan and Casper are too good at doing dumb stuff to be caught together. However, when Casper is just hanging out with Buttercup, all inhibitions are gone because those two know each other for the longest time. And usually the stuff that they do is very loud. So, yeah, getting into the most trouble while doing things, probably with Buttercup.
I mean, it's like
For
putting
sure.
someone that is a really good engineer with the mind of a child with someone who has crazy ideas, and then Buttercup goes, "We could do that."
But wait, you could actually do that, though.
Buttercup has Shang-Chi or energy.
Or...
Yeah.
I have questions for other players as well, but I also want to know. Okay, so how did Travis's stream get better? Did the stream numbers or the metrics go up? Like
yes.
How is Travis? Was there fallout? Will that be part of future installments?
I mean, I'm happy to answer it now, but I think if we are gonna do more, which I think Chat has said that we should, I think Travis has to be the NPC player like it's weird that Travis is my player character, but I think it has to be now. Yeah, I would say we'd probably get into that in future one shots, but no, yes. Did Travis's near arrest get their numbers to go up? Yes. As we know everything on the internet, if something wild happens, everyone's going to tune in. Other streamers are going to be like, holy shit, this one kid that usually does flips is doing this thing and he's about to get arrested. And everyone just watches his stream and the numbers go up and the numbers go up and the numbers go up. I don't, they definitely have gone up. I don't know what the trajectory of his channel is going to be at this moment, but they've definitely gone up, and he's definitely people are watching his stuff now, hoping for the next wild thing that he's going to do. Which are gone of which. This actually, I will say, because Danny asked, the how to spell Monty's mom's name is Oarantorren. Orin Torin. And that name, I will say, I made up on the spot when I was writing this. So, much like with most of my names, it just comes out of me.
I also come up with my DM speeches while driving and running errands.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The
prime time for it.
This is I will get into this a little bit because I have another very silly question for all of you. But for those of you that didn't know, I think I talked about this a little bit on a different, on either one of my streams or on Rule of Lore stream, is that the ending message that I pre-recorded for the one shot, came to me in a moment of stress, when I was late to tabling at God of the North.
I remember this day because I got there 15-20 minutes early, and I was like, "Hey, Brie, I'm here." And I checked I went to text you and be like, "Hey, I'm here." Assuming that you would be probably just a few minutes after me because I think I was a little bit closer to the con center than you were, and I saw a text from you that said, "On my way," and then I saw a text from you that said, "Ah, fuck, I left my badge at home. I gotta go back."
Yeah, so I had basically gotten almost there, and then I had to drive back. So on the drive there again, I was like, okay, I'm gonna turn, I was like, what can I do that's productive in this moment? And so I was like, all right, I have a thing that I want to do, and I have a thing that I want to say, and sort of the moral of the story of the one shot. And I was like, all right, I'm going to just turn on my phone recorder, and I'm just going to talk at myself while I drive. And I basically did this whole, the thing that I recorded was 15 minutes. And I listened to it later and then pared it down and made a written script. And then I went over that and recorded it and stuff. But yeah, I thought of all of this all of that just kind of off the cuff while I was driving, and then I listened back to it. I was like, they're gonna die, and I was so excited.
And we did. You killed us all.
That was the day 4 people died.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I had a lot of feelings, and I used to do this thing when I was a teenager where, like, a lot of my projects were, like, we had these, like, big things. I was an actress when I was younger. I was in community theater, and in high school I did a lot of my, like, I did a lot of heart-wrenching monologues as projects, in high school. Fun fact, you didn't know that about me. Like, we did, like, these creative writing things, so I would, like, I would do a bunch of different things, and then, like, the final thing would be this, like, heart-wrenching monologue, and I was like, I'm gonna do that this time. And so, basically how I wrote those was that I just kind of recorded myself, like, in character, like, being the person and, like, what their emotions would be, and then I was like, this is great! I've still got it! And I was like, yes!
You really do.
It was not the crash that killed him. It was the tragic mom last recording to her baby droid boy. Yep. To her baby droid thing, to her baby droids. And yeah, so a fun thing though, if anyone, I'm happy to talk about more of that later, but I also have a fun question for all of you, is that if you were a streamer on Twitch, what would you stream?
Ooh.
Me as in me, or me as in my character?
Your character.
Both.
Or both. Both works too.
Both.
I mean, Buttercup
Okay.
is quite easy. Stunts and just showing off their technological stuff, but mainly stunts and flying. Hoverboard stunts they can do with their wings.
Mm-hmm.
I would stream games.
I think if you dropped John into, like, just me, John, aka Resident Bard, into the universe of the Phoenix, I think that I would probably do cooking streams. I think that I would probably do cooking streams of various, like, cuisines from different cultures, because I think that would be endlessly fascinating to me. I think that Rowan would do, like, Rowan would probably be a variety, like, IRL streamer, and I imagine they would do some, like, archive streams like what Rogan does, because they are a walking library. But then I imagine they also probably just have, like, IRL streams where they're just, like, out kicking around, and walking around and doing arborean things. And I think that would be Rowan's like Twitch thing. And, like, of course, like the hair dyeing stream and other stuff, because, like, there'd be a certain amount of, like, tree anthropologist going on here, and then there is also the tree-nager side of Rowan, which is like, what do I want to do for stream today? I was going to deliver a lecture about this thing that, like, 2 vessels ago they discovered about this planet that we're on today, but also I just really want to dye my hair.
You're so Arboreans have such an easy time dyeing hair. They just have to stick it in colored water. It's like, you know, when they, like, make different, like, roses different colors. It's like that, just with their hair.
Yep.
So nice.
I think I personally, if I was, like, on the marketplace as a streamer, probably do something like random interviews with people. Just, like, grabbing someone and just sitting down with them for an hour and talking to them about whatever. And for Casper, I think he'd probably do some super stupid, like, urban exploring stuff, like just going into places he definitely shouldn't be and filming himself while doing it.
I love that. I love that for him. That's so fun. What do you think? Would Monty be a streamer, or would Monty just be the camera?
Monty would be the camera.
Okay, so Monty streams, and I like this cave would be like 15 minutes of a bird. 15 minutes of water running down the street in a weird way. Like, just like anything Monty thought was cool, when Monty would just turn on record and go live and just film it for a little bit. No commentary, just I'm observing something. I personally think I would do tea streams, where it's just like chill lo-fi and just drinking different teas from around the galaxy and talking about galactic politics, maybe.
That's awesome.
That reminds me of a long time ago. A streamer that I knew tweeted the word peach with their stream link, and then I tuned in, and it was just them methodically cutting up a peach. Like, it was just, the camera was just pointed at a plate in their dorm room, and they were cutting up a peach and moving it around the plate, and they did that for about 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and then the stream just turned off.
Yeah, like that.
I love that so much. That's so good.
That was Gift Master Allie.
Nice.
Allie did that.
Allie did that. Hell yeah. We all know what Travis would do. Rainy would definitely be archive streams and a little bit of a be a little bit you'd get very pointed lectures of like, I know it's cool to research things, but like maybe the Alorians should research their own fucking planet. Like, I get it, but also like it's our planet. And while doing archive streams, it would be very cute. It'd be very fun, and just a little bit of a archivist activist. And
An archactivist?
An archactivist.
That's the band name.
That's her handle. That's her
handle.
Twitch.tv/archactivist.
I love it.
This is canon, right?
Yeah, those are canon. Those are the only two NPCs that I planned on having in the game. So those are the only two I'm gonna answer for. The other ones are purely accidental and made by the characters.
Would you just do art in the Phoenix universe?
Oh yeah. If I was in the Phoenix universe, I would probably do art. I don't think I would be any different.
You would just be a very weirdly prophetic artist.
Why does this art streamer know everything about what's going on in the world?
You wouldn't believe me if I told you.
I also just love this idea of like some online community just gathering around Monty's stream of like random stuff and trying to figure out what it means, just completely obsessing about it.
Yeah, there's a whole like sub fandom of Monty's streams. Like they're just like the people who show up to Monty's streams because it's like the Monterey Bay Aquarium stream. And then there are the people who show up to Monty's streams and then like they have their own like future Discord server that's just like immaculate like breakdowns of every single things, like enhancing the reflections seen in images and trying to like crack the code, like we know there's something going on here,
trying to find whoever's streaming too, because it's just a random series of numbers for their streamer tag, so it's twitch.tv/random number.
And like the numbers change every single time.
Who is this? Who is this?
And it's
cryptid.
Just becomes a copy pasta in their chat. It's just the numbers, Monty. What do they mean?
The numbers, Monty.
Well, all right. We are very close to the end, and we had one question from a VOD viewer, and it is from the lovely Anne. And we answered most of it, but there is one thing that we didn't get to answer from that question, and it is... I pulled it up, and now my... Okay. It is... how much fun did you have learning Teens in Space?
A lot, honestly. Yeah. It's a very fun system.
I'll run it.
Yeah, having played it made me want to play in it more and also to run it. I especially getting to play Teens in Space in a comic universe that was near and dear to all of us in some way. Like that was so much fun. I 10 out of 10 would do it again.
Absolutely.
I'd play with anyone at this table again because it's amazing. And also, Bree, you're wonderful GM. So thank you.
Yeah.
I will play in any game that you want to GM, Bree. Like you are very good at it.
When I have more time after my wedding, I'll start actually really thinking about it for sure, because it's the summer and that's what I have to think about now. But after that, stay tuned.
It has one brain cell and it's constantly walking around in its PJs and a wedding dress.
Yeah.
It's wedding time. But yeah, you're
Daniel, buddy, I got a surprise for you.
Brilliant.
Incredible.
I think we just have to end the stream there.
Yeah.
That we can't do any better than that. That's comedy gold.
That's comedy gold. Thank you, sweetie. For those that don't know, Super Dodger 4x4 is my future husband. She has not mentioned it.
That's going to go into chat.
But yes, thank you all so much for coming to this Q&A. I'm wrapping, the reason that we're ending a little bit early and not going the full 3 hours is because people have hard outs at 6:30 because they have lives. I don't, but they do. And
I have a cat to sit.
I have chicken enchiladas to make.
I have to
I
sleep.
actually have nothing to do except for sleeping, maybe.
And healing your foot. You need to heal your foot.
Yes.
Ignore my foot, it's okay.
No. Yes, so that is why we're ending out. So, if anyone has any more questions, if you had just, watched it or whatever, you are always welcome to ask questions in the Phoenix channel in the Discord. Would be so happy to continue to talk about this. This was so much fun. I think we're probably going to, I'll talk to everyone, but I would be cool to put this up on YouTube for everyone's reference and things and stuff like that. But, thank you all so much for coming, and for those of you that don't know what Teens in Space is, or what the Phoenix is, or what the fuck we were talking about this entire time, is that Teens in Space, I'll start with this, since I'm holding it, is a really fun actual play by Hunters Entertainment and Renegade Games. Thank you so much to Hunters Entertainment for making this game, and for other future things that I will definitely be playing in this. Hunters Entertainment is absolutely lovely. I highly recommend Teens in Space. It's a super great game. It's just about teens being silly in space. They have so many ways. They have so many wild races already made in Teens in Space. You can use the Phoenix races if you'd like, but they have cloud people. You can be a cloud person just in the base game of Teens in Space. So I highly recommend it if that's not a thing. And if you don't know what the Phoenix is, thank you very much for holding that up, the Phoenix is my webcomic. It is a sci-fi adventure webcomic that sadly does not feature yet these lovely cast of characters, but
Just you wait.
Just you wait. It does not feature the crew of the Patchwork, but it does feature the crew of the Phoenix, a ragtag group of slightly older teens.
Love them all. I promise.
They are trying to figure out what the Alliance's whole deal is, and making found family and figuring out identity and what the fuck is up with AI along the way. So if you'd like to read that, new pages of the Phoenix come out every other Friday on Tapas, Webtoon, and my own website. A new page came out yesterday, page 13 of chapter 4. You could also, very soon, I will be posting volume 1 and volume 2 for purchase on my Ko-fi, that you can be able to buy physical versions of, which is chapters 1 and chapters 2, physical versions. And you can read it on Tapas Webtoon on my own website. If you would like to, did not watch Marketplace Mayhem before this, and would like this Q&A, I'd like to get some context on what the fuck we were talking about, you can go and watch it on my YouTube channel right now. It's the most recent video on my YouTube channel. It's super fun. I had an absolute blast. It was, it's 4 hours long actual play featuring these lovely folks and Haku in a really dope rabbit mask. And breathe. Okay.
Mhm. Take
I
a
have
breath. Take a
things
breath.
to say.
Also, this is Gobbins, and then just pride on top.
Yes, thank you very much. Also, if you liked this, and would like more of this, and would like to support, me and the things that I produce, as well as my lovely mods, the best way to support me is using, the tip jar down below, and, getting that goal of $300 before the end of the month, to get Pride Goblins, but that is the best way to support me on stream, and the best way to support my mods is coming, to my channel at the last stream of every month, and just sub and doing hype trades and bits, because, the last stream of my, every month, all subs and bits goes to my lovely moderators. So, please do that as well. They all do also awesome, amazing things. John has his own whole channel and is my co-creator editor for the Phoenix. Matt and Nico do absolutely amazing edits and things, and they're super, super awesome. Haku's absolutely incredible and has been doing streaming a little bit, but is also just incredible and amazing, and you also support them in everything that they do. Also, thank you so much for coming. Y'all are the best, and thank you so much for not only wanting to do this Q&A, and not only wanting to do the Marketplace Mayhem one-shot, but also now wanting more. And we hear you, and we will plan accordingly. Oh my God, Lemon! Thank you so much for the $24. Oh, 66.69. Nice. Thank you, Lemon. I realized I didn't put the donation thing on this stream. On this screen, I should have done that. Oops. Thank you very much, Lemon. You're the best. Yeah, that is the end of our stream. Do we have any other little lore bits just to drop real quick before we end out? Anything you want to say that you didn't get to say? Now's your last chance.
I think I have one bit that it's just a little bit of a tease for if we ever get to play again. Casper has a lot of issues with his history, with his people, and the fact that he's a human and he knows nothing about his people and their history. So there's a lot there.
Ooh.
You're all swell and the most awesome people, and I'm happy to be up here with y'all.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that I've talked about a little bit offline is that there is an interesting, a lot of stories about teenagers tend to be coming of age stories and discovering a certain amount of like identity and self, and that's very interesting when you pair it with an Arborian whose purpose in life is to exist for a fixed amount of time and then return to the hive mind, which they are not connected to during their sojourn out in the galaxy. When they return to Arborea, they become once more part of the mother tree, and are assimilated back into it with all of their component knowledge. So I think one of the things that Rowan might struggle with, that I think the mother tree perhaps did not anticipate when it made a teenage version of itself with all its component knowledge, is whether or not, is how that vessel would feel about returning.
Mm-hmm.
Monty won't let you.
So that's a more serious conflict, I think, that over the course of Rowan's character, I think is something that will probably be something that I'm interested in exploring.
Just a question I'm going to throw out there that I don't expect you to answer, but like, has there ever been an Arborian that rejected going back to the mother tree?
We've talked a little bit about this on stream, and I am open to the idea. I don't, obviously, again, no concrete lore, as we all know. But I am open to the idea, and it is very intriguing to me because there is some interesting consequences to not. There's definitely ones that haven't made it back. Whether or not that's because they didn't want to or they died, who knows?
I can see how Arborians would be like, of course they died. Like, who wouldn't want to come back?
Right, yeah.
Like, oh wow.
Yeah.
Some things to think about. Ooh.
Mhm.
Some things to think about for future one-shots, which will definitely happen. You have my word. Also, yes, Danny was correct. 2032, the Phoenix role-playing setting guide. All right.
I bet we can make
Heard
it
it here
happen
first,
before
folks.
then.
You heard it here first, folks. In 10 years, there'll be a Phoenix setting guide. You've heard it here first. Thank you so much to Rogan and Den for the raids. I really appreciate all your support and trusting me with your community. And a huge thank you to my chat for being here and being invested in this story we're telling. And thank you very, very much to Matt, Nico, Haku, and John for creating this story with me. Y'all are
Hi,
the best. Hi, Ash. The Ash. Here we go. Ash KM.
Hello, ear.
Thank you all so much for a lovely stream. I can't wait to corkboard with the rest of you in future drawing streams, as we so often do. Y'all are the best, and I hope you have a very great rest of your day and a very good weekend. I will see you all on Tuesday for continuing the strength card, and until then, see you in the stars. Bye! If I'm freaking mouse can do it, there we go. Bye!